Hey everybody, this is Josh Lindsay from the American Business Broker Podcast, the show that gives you full access to successful business owners and what it takes to sell a business. We break down the deals, give you full access to the owners, and as always, I share my secrets to selling a company. Enough talk, let's go! All right, episode number 2, we've got Michael Sylvester Conti.
Yeah.
Sylvester, your middle name?
No.
Oh, apologies. What's your middle name?
Frank.
Frank. Well, I thought Sylvester because, like, you know, Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, you're kind of a beast. Like
Silver
Rocky.
hair.
Silver hair, yeah. You do have one great head of hair.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
Yes.
The thing about Conti, the reason I wanted to bring, we've only known each other, what, for like 6 months?
6 months, yeah.
6 months?
Since
Moab. Since Moab. But no, man, the thing about you is you're just like a genuine dude. Like, you really are so willing to help out anyone and everyone. Like,
Well, thanks, man.
even when I text you about nothing, you'll be like, hey, I can come down and like clean your boat. I'm like, nope, I didn't ask you to come down and clean my boat, but I appreciate the offer. Like, you're always just so nice about that
Yeah,
stuff,
man. Well, being in business, I know it's kind of one of those things. You always need something. There's always like.
But like you just kind of go out of your way to like do
you.
right by people, and it's been really impressive to get to know you. So
Thank you, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So obviously, there's 3 listeners. I kind of already told you. I got the wife. I got my mom probably. Got Marshmallow the bulldog.
My favorite.
He tunes in. But for those 3, I mean, start off by just giving us a little backstory, like who you are, what you're about. I mean, you're a pretty diverse guy. You've got some great stories, you know, but tell us what you're all about. You from here? You from Utah?
No, grew up in Southern California.
Okay.
Fountain Valley. Went to Fountain Valley High School.
Fountain Valley.
Yeah.
Class of?
1990. I just turned 50 this
Epic
year.
Epic year.
Yeah.
Motley Crue was huge that year.
Absolutely. Yeah. Grew up with that K-Rock down there in Southern California.
Love it.
So graduated from Fountain Valley High School.
Okay.
Grew up kind of on the beach, surfing down there. My parents had a sailboat, so grew up on the water.
So you're a water guy.
Water guy.
For sure.
Totally a water guy. Yeah.
Right.
Grew up diving, surfing.
Yeah.
Just that whole Southern California lifestyle. Went to Cal State Fullerton. Figured out
Graduated.
Oh, no, I dropped out. Yep.
You were out.
I didn't even make it a year.
That's all right. Dude.
I was like,
There's a lot of successful people that don't
man,
make
this is kind of a waste of time for me. It doesn't work. I took business classes and I was like, yeah, this is a joke.
Just not feeling it.
Not feeling it.
Okay.
So, dropped out. Left California for Colorado to help my uncle open up furniture stores.
Okay. So this is how
it started.
This is how you got your master's degree. It's funny because the last guest we had, I said the same thing. I said, I've always believed that a great way to learn how to start a company is to go and get a master's degree working under somebody else.
Absolutely.
So tell me about your master's degree in business.
Yeah, so my master's degree was a complete nightmare.
That's okay.
Uncle. So I worked for my uncle, which was great. The goal was to open up stores he was franchising. So I'd move around the country, wasn't dating, just
How
single
old were
dude.
you?
I was 18, 19 years old.
Young.
Young.
No
Yeah. Hey, go to Gunnison, Colorado.
Yeah.
Well, where is that? Well, it's south of Crested Butte. Come to find out, it's the coldest spot in the nation next to Winter Park. Yeah, and I'm from Southern California. I didn't know all this stuff. So opened up stores for him. Then I worked in his accounting department. I did deliveries. I learned from the bottom of the business all the way up. So my master's degree.
You're the second person to tell me this.
Yeah, driving trucks.
Everything.
Everything.
How long was the master's degree?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so what year is it now? Like 94?
92, 91,
Okay,
92.
91, 92.
Yep.
And then what happened?
So I went to go close a store in Park City. So
For your uncle.
yeah, drove my uncle's motorhome out to Park City. I'm
Okay.
closing down 2 stores. They had a Salt Lake store and a Park City store. Started diving into this and found out the manager was stealing. So they hadn't paid their 941 taxes or their sales tax,
Okay.
which you can't get out of.
Yeah. No,
So I kind of fell in love with Park City.
you loved it.
I loved it.
Okay.
It was fall of 91.
Okay.
92, somewhere. Yeah, 91, because I bought it in 92.
Right.
And said, hey, I kind of want to stay here in Park City. And he's like, well, we're closing that store. I said, well, no, I'll buy it from you guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had no money.
Yeah. Walk me through this process.
Yeah, so there was 3 owners, and I offered them $1 each to assume $141,000 in debt.
This sounds like a 20-year-old offer.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that today. I would never do that today. Yeah. Because
you're like, hey, I'll give you $1 each and I'll take over
your
debt and liabilities.
But I need inventory. So my uncle was always flush with inventory, being a franchisor. He had a warehouse full of inventory. So that was always his problem. He always overbought. So I said, but hey, when I sell it, I'll pay for it. So give me a store full on consignment.
Okay. And he was cool with that because he had tons of inventory. And he
wanted to get rid of the store and the debt and all that kind of stuff. And he knew I'd pay him off. Sales tax and 941 payments.
You assumed that?
Assumed it, yeah. So it's a big nightmare, yeah. But when you're 20 years old, you don't know any better. You're
so 20. I'm like, that stuff is like, you'll never get away from that.
You never do.
Wow.
So for the next 6 months.
How long did that deal take to put together? Quick? 30 days? 60 days?
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
You're just like, hey, let's figure it out. Let's drop an agreement. Did you get a lawyer?
No.
Mike just did it himself.
just did it myself. Trusted my uncle.
No, I get it. So all of a sudden at 20, you've got a store in Park City.
Yep.
$141,000 in IRS debt.
Yep.
And
no place to live.
And 2 years experience in the furniture business.
Correct.
All right, so this is where we're at.
This is where business 101.
I freaking love this. You've never told me this part. This is amazing. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're there. So Park City, 91, 92.
Got my Toyota 4Runner with my jet ski behind it in the parking lot.
I love it.
Nowhere to live. Money.
Did you sleep in the 4Runner?
No, I slept in the store. I got mattresses, man. Come on, dude. Like, what are you talking about? So in the garage, I kind of slept there, and then down. People don't know this. This is that down the street from where my store was is a KOA. So they have showers.
Where was the store in Park City?
It was on Rasmussen Road.
So give me like a pointer.
In between Jeremy Ranch and the Park City exit.
Oh, yeah.
On the north side frontage road.
North side frontage road, like where Blanco's and stuff is? On that
Other
side?
side.
Other side. Okay.
Other side of the road.
The gas station is.
Yeah, right where the Burt Brothers and all that new complex is.
It was over there?
Yeah, it wasn't that before. It was like this old building off the side of the road.
Okay, got it. So that's where you're at, sleeping in the store.
Yeah, showers at the KOA until I could finally get some money.
You could shower for free?
You could always do stuff for free, man.
Slide in.
You can always do. Hampton Inn has free breakfast if you go in the back door, man. Like it's how it goes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was.
Okay, was the store making any money when you took it over? Like there had to be no traffic.
It was, it wasn't much.
So what did you do? Like, walk me through, like, what are you doing here?
So kind of like when I was opening up stores before, I knew where to go. Chamber of Commerce, real estate agents. Because real estate agents are the ones who I want.
Buying homes, right? They've got to furnish some stuff. Okay.
They're with they're with my customers who I need.
Yeah.
The next thing is identifying who your customer is. A lot of businesses fail because they don't identify who the customer is.
All right, but let's touch on this because like most people think furniture's for everybody.
It's not.
What do you mean identify your customer?
So in the furniture business, you have low end. So you have your IKEA, Freeway Oak, Ashley.
Just cheaper, more inexpensive. Okay.
Right.
Maybe temporary. It's not going to last a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you got middle.
Middle.
What's that look like?
That's me. So middle of the road, your $1,000 to $3,000 couches, your something that they don't want cheap and they're not going to go spend $20,000 on a couch.
Got it. Okay.
That's where I fit.
That was your niche. That's your customer.
And custom too. So you could do this chair in this color, orders. This fabric. Yeah. Most of my business was custom orders. So
here's something we should probably touch on. What was the name of the company?
At that time when I bought it was Mountain Comfort.
Mountain Comfort. Did you change it when you took it over? Or did you keep it Mountain Comfort?
No, I stayed in the franchise for a while.
Okay. You took over a franchise too?
Well, that was the
so
franchise.
You had to kick them a royalty?
Yeah. So we're kicking a royalty.
Wow.
I think it was like 2% or 2%.
And the royalty.
Yeah. Well, royalty only works when you sell something. So it was on sales.
Still.
Yeah.
He's still getting a piece.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So how long did you last in Mount Comfort? Meaning before you changed the name?
I think about 6 years.
About 6 years.
Yeah.
So you built it up. Real estate agents, Chamber of Commerce. That's where you touched on it. How long did it take before you got that store moving a little bit?
About a year.
Took a year? 12 months.
About a year to get it to where we were making a little bit of money.
Again, a key point here is so many people are just too impatient. Like they won't stick it out. Like you just said, it took you 12 months to get that store to start turning.
Which
probably means, again, you're sleeping in the store.
Yep.
You've got like an old 4Runner. You're probably eating ramen noodles.
Pretty much.
Your dating life was probably minimal to non-existent.
Zero.
Right, because you can't afford to do anything. But you were just hyper focused on getting this store turned around.
Dude, I put a 4x8 sheet piece of plywood on the jet ski trailer to be able to deliver after work was over.
Use the jet ski trailer to deliver furniture?
For a while at first, till I could afford to get a truck.
No, hey,
I had to do what I did to get. Yeah, most of the time people would pick up, or
but it took you a year. I mean, the point that I get at is so many people start businesses, right? It's like they start a tech company, and like within 3 months, if that thing's not like getting, $100 million in funding, it's like they just give up.
Yeah.
Right. But in most cases, the people that really succeed is like you got to put in the work, you got to grind it out. Like it might take a little bit to get that to turn, and it's gonna be dark, a little lonely,
It was that.
little slim, right? A little slim on the eats. Like, what kept you going?
For me, I've always been driven.
Sure.
It's just I saw the possibility of what could be, and I knew that if I really worked hard at it, there was a good future here for me.
For you.
And the biggest thing was getting out of debt. The sales, I had to negotiate all of the debt to get out of it, and so that was a constant payment. And the quicker I got out of debt, the better I would be.
Sure.
And
so did that take you a year? How long did it take you out of the debt?
I think it took me almost 2 years
About
to
2
get.
years, but that's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, 141. I mean, at 20, 21 years
And they don't
old.
give you, and you can't negotiate it.
No.
Oh, that is like you
like
owe
you're
it.
gonna pay it. Yeah.
What they did negotiate was the penalties.
Yeah. Okay.
So they
waived the
started
penalties and
backing off
interest.
some of the penalties, and then the interest as long as I was making the payment. And it wasn't easy to make the payments that they gave me.
I'm sure it wasn't, man.
It was like
So was it just you working the store?
me, and then there was one employee, Karen, who I remember.
Okay, so you and another
Karen,
employee.
yeah.
You primarily did everything. You sold, you delivered,
Yeah,
customer service,
yeah,
returns.
yeah.
And Karen just kind of helped.
Yep, she was great at sales and
Did
stuff like that.
Just
Yeah,
anything. If you just had just the two of you. How big was the store?
5,000 square feet.
That's pretty big.
It was good size.
Yeah, good size store. I mean, okay. So what did you do then from 92, say for the next 6 years in the franchise model? How'd you grow that business?
I learned as customers are my best form of advertising.
Meaning?
As long as I take care of them, they're going to spread the word of this cool furniture store.
So how do you take care of somebody in the furniture space? Since don't they like the furniture? Doesn't that do the job? Like, hey, I love this couch. Like, what do you mean?
But it's like looking at this table we're sitting at, 48 by 48 black table. Well, when you explain to a customer that, hey, you can get this in brown, you can get this in light gray, you can get this in that, they start to create a relationship with you. So relationship with my customers was great. A lot of times in Park City, what people will do is they'll come in and buy a condo, and then they come back for the summer, and then they start to fall in love, and then they go buy a big house. I want them to come back. My goal was not just to sell them one table. My goal was to sell them for year after year after year.
You saw it as a relationship business.
Absolutely, 100%.
It had to be a relationship.
Furniture is relationship, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's they're looking for. They would want to come in and talk to me. They'd want to come in and and be at the store and see us.
You took care of them 2 or 3 years prior.
Yeah, and the other thing was we were unique, so we didn't do what other stores did.
Meaning
we had unique furniture. We'd shopped. We're very specific at what we did.
Market and stuff like that.
Yeah, we'd go to furniture market. We'd go down. Back then Mexican furniture was kind of real popular. So we go to Taos and buy really cool painted furniture down there.
Yeah.
That was
you brought in.
That
some
was
cool
30
stuff.
years ago, man. Where I'd take
unheard
of, right? Yeah. And so having unique items in the furniture business. Now, mind you, there was no online, so people actually had to go to a store.
Yeah.
Which
to see stuff.
It wasn't like, hey,
even catalogs. It's like we could get Sears catalog, but
they didn't
we're
exist.
Really dating ourselves,
right? Or J.C. Penney, right?
Like Dakota over there, he's like Sears. Didn't they go bankrupt?
Dakota has no idea who that is. Yeah, so
easy. Dakota.
So being a brick and mortar store, having a unique product, but then also having a good client base. So my goal was to just create a client base with real estate agents and return customers. And that's how it grew. I mean, it grew from nothing to...
So you're there, and in 98, you changed the name?
Yeah.
So how'd you get out of the franchise model?
Well, it was kind of a nightmare since it's family.
It's not easy. So what'd you do there? Just give me like a little...
So I wasn't the last one. I think there was about 21 stores.
Okay.
And the 18 or so, 16 franchisees weren't happy with what was going on, where the direction of the company was going, where the buying was going. Because in furniture business, buying is key.
Yeah.
Because you get bulk buys.
Right.
And they just didn't think the franchise was going. And so, and even my mom owned a store too. I got my mom in the furniture business. Go figure. It's kind of furniture becomes a family business. And My mom and I were the last ones to kind of bail out of the franchise. It was a year-to-year agreement, and we just decided not to renew, and we changed the name to Mountain Timber.
Mountain Timber
Furnishings.
That's right. In 98?
About then, yeah.
Somewhere right in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Any fallout because of that?
Yeah.
You had some fallout.
Family fallout.
Oh, okay.
Customers? No, they didn't even know.
That's what I'm asking.
No, they don't care. They're looking for me.
Okay, so you were good.
Yeah.
No, change the name, same store. Nobody cared.
No one cared.
Did you even have to explain it?
Not really. Most people didn't even notice.
I was just saying, like, there wasn't any.
It wasn't like we changed from, like, Mountain Comfort to Sundance Fine Furniture or something like that. There wasn't a big deal.
It was close enough. Everything stayed the same. You're still really good at buying your products.
New logo.
Plus, you're taking care of all your customers, so they're coming to see you.
And I have a relationship with the vendors, so it wasn't a big deal. They work off. We were a corporation doing business as. All we did was just change our DBA.
That's it.
That was it.
That's right, because you did that stock sale and assume stuff, so you didn't have to do anything.
Right.
Other than just end the franchise agreement.
Right.
Okay.
Which is, yeah.
All right. So, 98. How did you start growing your business from there?
Boom in Park City because we got the Olympics coming in 2002.
That's right. That was like yeah.
But it didn't boom like you would think it would boom.
What do you mean?
It was like, it took a while afterwards. I mean, we saw a boom like in 2004,
Well, I was going to say, and I'm totally speculating. You'd be better to say this, but Park City was still kind of like a secret.
Yeah.
I mean, so my family's from there. So
Yeah.
all my grandparents and stuff were buried in that cemetery. So I know it well enough to know that it's always been just kind of like a sleepy secret. But then the Olympics like really put it on the
Woke
map.
it up, yeah.
And then I'm sure that's when you saw the boom. So from like 3, 4, 5.
Absolutely.
They were like, hey, this place is awesome. What you found in 90 took most of the world to find in like after 2002.
After 2002, yeah. They started coming and visiting more, and we saw a lot of growth in the town. Yep.
Condos were getting bought. All that stuff was booming, right?
Yep.
Is that fair? Okay, so what did that growth look like? Give me some just gross revenue models. Like you're doing, let's say in 98, 99, 2000, what are you doing? Like
couple million.
Couple million at the store.
Yeah.
And then in 3, 4, 5, post-Olympics, what did that jump to?
We're going up 10% a year.
Oh, I thought you would.
No, not million. 10% a year. That's in the furniture business. We want constant growth. We don't really want
explosive.
Big, explosions.
Still one store.
Still one store at that time.
3, 4, 5.
Yeah, but then we started growing.
So when did you open that second store?
Probably 5. I opened
2005. Where did you put it?
Right down on 2100 South and 3rd West, across from RC Willey.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Why did you choose Salt Lake City?
And we had a lot of clients coming up because they wanted that rustic furniture
in their homes in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
And we also got the Jackson Hole traffic, the what's that big lake up there up in Montana? We got all
Whitefish or whatever.
A big lake. I forget what it is.
Coeur d'Alene.
Well, we do Coeur d'Alene. We do pretty much do all that because they come down to the big RC Willey, and we were just on the right-hand side there, and it says Mountain Timber.
So
I never liked the name Mountain Timber.
More appropriate.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of want a more generic name.
But it helped.
It helped big time.
Yeah. Yeah. They thought, no, this is for mountain homes.
Yeah, and that store.
All right. So when you launched that second store, what did that take you to revenue-wise?
We were doing
another million?
Huh?
Did it add another million?
Oh, more than that. Yeah, add another couple million.
Salt Lake boomed it up. Okay.
There's a bigger store, so we could actually showcase more. We had a couple of galleries. We had a Flex Steel gallery and it was called Shadow Mountain Gallery. So we could do galleries down there. It's 10,000 square feet. We had a distribution center and warehouse. So now we could buy better. We could buy in bigger quantities. So we were growing.
You were growing for sure.
Growing big time.
This is 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know what's coming.
Yeah, I'm aware. So 5, 6, 7, life is good.
Life is great.
Okay.
Got an airplane,
You
got
got an airplane?
Cars. Oh, yeah. I had actually 2. Why do you need
Who
2?
needs one airplane?
You
Who
could have
needs
2.
one airplane when you can get 2 airplanes?
Yeah, this was a great learning lesson over the next couple of years.
Tell me you were flying people's furniture in your airplane.
No, it was not.
This is for private personal use?
This is private personal
You don't
use.
seem like a guy that would have an ego, man. You're such a down-to-earth guy. You had 2 planes.
Yeah, it's dumb.
I
One was a single engine, one was a twin. I don't know. Got talked into it, but it is what it is.
But they were awesome.
The
You
planes?
still have your pilot's license?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, man, I love it, man. You're just...
Yeah. Very diversified
You're
here.
a man of mystery. You've done all sorts of stuff. You still
Try.
have your pilot's license. You told me the other day you're a captain of a boat.
Yeah, we can do captain boats, so yeah.
You're everything. Right?
Try.
I know, man. That's crazy. Okay, so...
Well, the furniture business has allowed me you know, to kind of go and do things. I mean, it's a great income, or it was a great income, but it then allowed me freedom too, because I had managers, I had people running the business, which was great. So
watching, we're studying Ed Milet right now a little bit, and I saw this clip the other day, and it was like, there's such a big fallacy out there where it talks about, you know, it always says millionaires have multiple streams of income. And he was like, that's ridiculous. Most millionaires that I know have mastered one thing. They got really, really good at it. And then they diversify out of that. And that's how I've always felt. Yeah. Is like, I've always been hyper focused in just like the one area, gotten really good at it. And then once you got to a certain level, then you're like dabbling in some other things. Maybe I invest in real estate, or maybe I'm like, you know, getting into like aviation or whatever it is. But it sounds like it was the same for you. Like you were hyper focused in furniture. You became a master in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then once you got to a certain level, then you kind of...
You only have so much time in a day. You only have so much brain power.
Right.
And I always say you do what you know. It's like we didn't get into home staging. We didn't break off into renting furniture. We just did what we knew. We stuck with our client base and we mastered that.
Mastered it.
Yeah. And it was good. It was cranking.
Okay. So you're at 7, 8. When did you see the early signs? I'm being serious.
Dude, I don't know if there was an early sign. No, so the early sign was when my delivery guys are buying $500,000 homes and, you know, ski boats and stuff like that. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, like, how in the hell is this happening? Like,
hold on. So Rex over here just bought a $200,000 condo, a third home. Like, how's he doing this?
Yeah, it just didn't. I'm just kind of like going, God, man, something's gonna happen.
You saw
now, mind you, because I had gone through the saving and loans crisis.
When was that?
That was back. Well, it wasn't in the 90s, late 80s or early 90s.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I'd have to look it up, but yeah.
But we in the 90s.
Yeah, you're a little younger than I am.
Not a little. I'm just a little bit, not much.
So,
but I wasn't old enough to be.
I mean, I was still on the big go stage. I mean, it was still full throttle ahead. I got caught with my pants down like everyone else did.
So you were way out there.
Extended,
lot of inventory,
lots of inventory,
housing crashed.
Dude, it was a faucet that just went boop.
Oof, just off.
Yeah, because people not going to spend disposable income. They don't have it.
It's a luxury item.
Yeah, furniture is a luxury item. New furniture, yes.
Luxury item.
And the second homeowners, when they stop buying in Park City, now you cut off my base.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
So what'd you do? How'd you deal with that obstacle? Because one of my questions I ask people is, you know, let's talk about the obstacles. That's a big obstacle. This is monster, and it's right in that housing crash. Like, so what did you do? Did you wheel it back? Did you have to lay off people? Yeah. Did you shut down stores? Like, what happened? You're saying all the above?
Yeah, well, I got rid of the ego quick.
Did it?
That just went.
It did?
Yeah, it's gone. You just become super humble.
You got lean real quick?
Yeah, as quick as I could. There's only so fast you can get rid of furniture in a market that where people aren't buying furniture. It's kind of a hard thing.
Wholesaling it?
No, we were running sales left and right. You're like pushing. Everyone else was, pushing and we laid off employees. So we also had a store in St. George in Las Vegas.
You had 4 stores?
Yeah.
By when? 12?
By, I would say, end of 6, beginning of 7.
Oh my gosh. So
dude, like literally we opened up Vegas and we closed it down a year and a half later.
So in 5 you had 2 and by 7 you had 4.
Yeah.
You were slaying.
We were doing well.
Slaying.
I was extended. Yeah. I had a lot of debt. So I was leveraged basically. Sure. And in the furniture business, they love to leverage you because they know it's a asset. You know, a couch is an asset.
They can get it if they need to.
Yeah, they needed to.
For sure.
So yeah, we started closed Vegas. Got someone to take over that lease. St. George got someone to take over that lease. They were like, "Oh, we're going to open up a store," and da 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 da. It was like the trading or something, Taipan trading. Guys, they were just going to crush it.
Yeah.
They were out of business a year later. Yeah. And we just pulled back. And pulling back without an ego is okay.
Is it?
It is. I lost $3.1 million in 6 months.
It's bananas.
It's crazy.
Bananas.
Yeah.
Let me say it again. Bananas.
Yeah, bananas.
Wow.
Planes start going away, start selling planes. You start selling stuff off to pay debt. So one of my biggest thing is not to go bankrupt, not to stiff a vendor. I had those relationships, which was great.
So many people would have just taken the easy way out and just folded and then just start over.
I worked it out. I found jobs for the employees. I mean, I went from a ton of employees down to very minimal staff, a skeleton staff.
Right.
Back to working like I was with, my first store.
But you survived. Like, that's the key. You survived through this recession.
And thrived.
You would consider it
Oh,
thriving?
hell yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because what happened was I got rid of all the headaches.
Okay.
Because I had 4 stores didn't mean I was making 4 times the amount of money.
And you realized that through that.
Oh God, yeah. Okay. It all makes sense on paper, and then when you try and do it, and
then you're like,
you've got a plane and you're flying back and forth, and that's got $10,000 maintenance
it all
fees.
seems valid.
It makes But
when you were forced to peel the onion, you realized you weren't making 4 times the income.
I was not. No.
Okay.
I just created 4 times headaches. Yeah.
Interesting. So you peel it back. You kept the 2 stores.
Yeah, and tried to run just Salt Lake and Park City and the distribution center, and I probably did another year of that, and I just couldn't make it work.
2010?
Yeah, probably about end of 9, beginning of 10.
And then what? You closed Salt Lake?
I had to make a decision. I talked to my landlord in Park City and talked to my landlord in Salt Lake, and I'm like, I got to close one of these. I did not want to close Park City. I had leases on both, and Salt Lake let me out of my lease.
Okay. So that was
because I went to him and said, hey, this is what it is, guys. Here's my numbers.
Yeah.
I'm bleeding
Is
still.
it 10?
Probably 10.
So it's still a
recession.
rough time. Yeah, I mean, it was a solid 2.5 years.
Well, because I'm continuing to pay debt. I'm trying to get rid of inventory.
Yeah. Take care of vendors. Do everything you possibly can. But the market did not correct quick. It was
slow
years at least.
So the great thing is when you're honest with someone and you say, hey, this is where I'm at. I have a couple choices here. I close this store, I close that store, or I close them all and I disappear. Or hide under bankruptcy or whatever. I'm willing to do this. And Park City they were helping us out with half rent that we ended up paying back later on down the road as things corrected. Salt Lake let us out of our lease. They let us out of the warehouse when they found people to take over the lease.
Okay.
So just worked it out. I learned that relationships are key in business. Like it is it's key. And I run off a handshake. I don't even remember what the documents I were signed. I remember the agreement I made with my word. And that's kind of how.
Yeah, it's rare. I mean, that's not something I would advise people to do. I mean,
of course not.
Only just because it's so easy for people to.
I had agreements in paper that attorneys draw up with leases and stuff like that.
So there were real agreements.
I don't.
All right.
Yeah, there was, of course.
So Salt Lake closes in 10, and then you're back down to 1 store.
1 store in Park City.
And you just, you grinded it out.
Yeah, and I kind of reflected on the mistakes I made.
Okay.
And was honest with myself. A lot of times people try and put that stuff in the closet and say, oh, it was someone else's fault. No, it was my fault. I grew, I extended myself, I leveraged myself, and I promised myself I would never leverage myself that way again. I wasn't raised that way.
No, it's a good lesson.
I was raised by a conservative mom,
So 11, 12, you start to make the turn. You got the 1 store back. You're just back to fundamentals. And then obviously the market starts turning in 12 and 13, starts coming back. And then obviously from 15 on, things start roaring again, right? I mean, did Park City get a little bit hot again? Yeah, I would think so.
It's booming, yeah.
Right.
More cranking.
Yeah, things are going back.
Making good income.
Okay, so now you sold in 18? Is that right?
Sold in 18, yeah.
18, okay. Yeah. Which is impeccable timing, which we'll talk about.
Didn't know about it?
Yeah, no, you never know about timing. But so let's start here. So now you're back to the 1 store.
Yeah.
Walk me through the process of did somebody approach you? Did you hire somebody? Did you solicit the sale? What happened there?
It's a crazy story. So I had a head designer for me. She was out on a leave of absence, back issues or something. And it was at the furniture market in January of 2018 and ran into her. I was like, Jen, what are you doing here? It was kind of like this deer in headlight look from her, like, oh my God.
I'm caught.
And I was like, I started thinking about it. I'm like, and I walked away. And we're in a showroom. They're only so big, they're jammed with furniture. And I walked back. I said, hey, if you're trying to open up a store, you should probably just make me an offer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
She's like, oh, no. I was just here and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, okay, whatever.
So
I go home, and I typically market on the weekend back Tuesday or Wednesday. And Saturday, all of a sudden, one of my clients comes in with the letter of intent. Saturday afternoon, I'm working. But
the designer had an investor?
Yeah. Which is one of my clients who does a bunch of flips and investing in promontory.
How'd that make you feel though? Because it's just kind of like the inner workings.
Again, no ego. I don't. Whatever. So
you're cool with your lead designer.
Oh, I wasn't cool with it.
I wasn't your relationship with your client, who's then going to peel off and start their own store?
Well, okay, let's go back a little bit. The nice thing about the furniture business, it's like the car business, right? Like you can't open up 2 Ford stores on the same corner.
Oh, okay.
If you create a relationship with like a Flex Steel, who's a manufacturer of upholstered furniture, they're not going to open up right across the street if you're doing business with them.
There's a territory of sorts.
Oh man, I know the VP, I know my sales rep.
Okay, right.
We go to dinner, we hang out, we go to jazz games. You know what I mean? Like
I got it. It's just an interesting scenario.
So what they found out is that my designer promised the investor that they could open up the same vendors. What they went to market is they found out that they couldn't.
So that's how you got the
and
LOI?
That's where my value was.
I got it. Okay.
There was also another value, which was in my lease.
Good building.
Great
the
lease. Biggest space
Good
in Park
term.
City.
So you get an LOI from the designer or the investor?
Investor.
Okay. And you didn't know that was coming?
No.
It just comes in.
Saturday afternoon, I'm sitting in there and they come in and say, hey, we want to buy your business.
But you knew him?
Knew him, of course. Yeah.
And did they say we're working with the lead designer?
It was the names were on the letter of intent.
Just trying to figure it out.
Put 2 and 2 together pretty quick when they walked in with a piece of paper.
All right. Okay. So you get the offer. You're sitting there looking at it. Good offer, bad offer?
Great offer.
It was a good offer. Yeah. So not much negotiation was needed after that?
Just in the terms, and I wanted a little more.
A little bit, but not much.
Not much.
They started off pretty fair.
Good. Yeah.
Okay. Any attorneys involved?
Well, yeah, I had an attorney.
Currently at this stage?
No.
Okay. All right. So let's go from the offer. You come back, you renegotiate it a little bit, you sign the offer. Let's talk about due diligence. What did due diligence look like?
There wasn't much to do. So we were selling assets.
Okay.
And then an agreed upon amount.
But like, what did they have to review? Did they not? They didn't even look at your books?
They didn't need to. They didn't want my books.
They didn't. So they made an offer.
They knew what we were doing because of my head designer, who's in there and knows what we're doing for volume and stuff.
Knowledge as far as volume and stuff.
Yeah, she knows exactly what the volume we're doing. She knows the vendors. So the due diligence was through her. Which, if it were me on that side, I wouldn't have done it that way.
Sure.
Because then you're trusting in that person's opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously it's to her benefit to like, hey, this is going to be the most amazing thing ever because she really wants to open her own store.
Correct. So the due diligence was minimal on them. They could see what we have. It's a furniture store. They walk the warehouses. They see what we have. They went through and looked at the payables. I mean, they kind of said, oh, well, you're going to need some time to figure out, what you owe and stuff like that. I go, no, actually, it was mid-February. We had just filed, because January 31st, my accountant gets everything. I go, I've already pretty much done with my taxes. And it was a Saturday, and I pay all my bills on Friday, going back to this whole getting caught with my pants down during 08, 09, 10.
Sure.
I pay all my bills on Friday.
No.
So
you knew.
I knew exactly what my company was worth at the time.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't much to do. I said, you can review them. And I printed my...
So we're talking 30 days of due diligence?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
It was that tight?
I was gone March 1st. I was at my house in Mexico.
Took a month?
2 weeks.
2 weeks to close the deal?
Yeah.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
I
was at my house in Mexico on March 8th.
What?
Yeah. We closed March 1st and I was gone March 8th.
That's wild. So it was an all-cash deal?
Yeah, all cash.
Boom, done.
Yeah.
You're out.
Done.
No transition.
I cleaned my desk.
That's not a transition. You know what I'm talking about when I say transition.
So,
there's no training period. No transition.
They had my head designer.
I know, but
they wanted, so when
they saw no value in you or your knowledge?
No.
None.
Zero.
They're like, get out of here.
Pretty much, I think I have 10 calls at the most.
What? Another crazy.
But they kept my team. So we had a good team in place.
Right.
They kept my controller. They kept everybody in place. They even kept my now wife.
Heidi worked there?
Yeah, Heidi worked there.
Oh,
yeah, because when the lead designer went out with her back injury, I needed to have someone come in. So Heidi came in and helped out and fell in love with it.
That's how you met your wife?
No. I met her before. Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
But she was working there.
She was working there, yeah.
During
she loved it. She loved the design business. Yeah. So their due diligence, I mean, they knew what they were getting. It was pretty easy.
Still sounds a smidge reckless.
But the value was in the lease. You're forgetting that. I was at $10 a square foot. They couldn't lease a building that wasn't for $30 or $36 a square foot.
And how long was your lease? What was left?
Until October of this year. Until October of 22.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that long. So they had another 4 or 5 years on the board.
And
locked in.
Wow,
that's
good.
And see,
my exit strategy was October of 22. I was just going to run it, going out of business and be done.
And just
Ava's
liquidate.
My daughter's 18, graduating high school.
You were going to be done either way.
It was on my vision board to be retired at the age of 50.
Got it.
And that was my goal. So when they came in, I went, first call was my mother. hey, Mom, what do you think about me selling my business? This is what they're offering. She's like, take it and go.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. And then the next call was to Heidi, who was my fiance at the time. And I'm like, hey, so weird thing happened today. The designer and the investor want to buy the business. Like, I thought something was up at market. And she's like, was it good or bad? I go, well, we won't be rich. We won't be poor. And we can watch our kids graduate high school, through high school and hang out with the grandkids.
It's pretty easy to say.
It was pretty easy.
Yeah, it's good.
So
all these stories are crazy. Like 2 weeks and you're just out. That's
gone.
like just wild. Okay, so there's no transition period. So here's the deeper question then. When you sold, what emotions did you experience for like the next 6 to 12 months?
Man, it was crazy. A roller coaster.
That's what I mean. Were you
Dude, I lost my identity.
Was there an identity crisis?
Dude, identity. I would go
your whole life. You did it since you were 20.
I babysat people every day. I don't own a business.
Right, walk me through it. Nurture me through it.
So, well, the adventure side of me is a little crazy. So I had a big race planned for June of 2018. I was racing my bike across America, which is a huge challenge.
Insane.
Yeah, dumb. So
it's crazy.
I took a week off, went to the house in Mexico, and then I came back and it was full training mode until June.
So that got your mind at least off of it because you had to prep for this war child of a race.
And they would call about questions and stuff like that. But then after that race was like,
okay, so what happened? Because that's your identity.
I had no reason to wake up in the morning.
None.
It was just like,
you didn't know what to do.
No, I didn't know what to do.
I mean, because you can only, bike or golf or do whatever. Go to lunch so many times where you're.
No, I can't go to lunch. My friends work.
I'm just saying, that's what I mean. You get a little restless, right?
Yeah, and I thought this would be really cool being retired at 46, but dude, my friends still have jobs.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go do something. Let's go. And it's like, hey, bro, I work. I'm like, oh, damn, I forgot about that.
So how long did it take to get through that?
Shit, I still struggle with it now.
Do you? So even 4 years later?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I still kind of like, I've moved past it. Like, my non-compete was over and Heidi's like, hey, do you want to open up another store? I'm like, hell no.
I said hell no.
No, yeah, I don't want to babysit people. I do like, we buy homes and sell homes and, we're working with the kids a lot.
Sure. I get it. But you still have a little bit of like.
I miss being in the game.
Being in the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I miss it. But
being in the game of business or being in the furniture game?
Both. The day-to-day game, you know what I mean? Because it keeps you busy.
Got to go in. Yeah, you've got this schedule, this regimen.
But now I would never own a business. I would help someone who is struggling with a business. I would come in and, I like looking at numbers. I like figuring out the problems. I like helping with things, as you know, is kind of a deal. Like, I'll do whatever it takes. Yeah. So that's where I think if I were to get back in the game,
that would be more of your role.
My strength is
like the ground up founder.
Dude, the ground up is.
No, I know.
I've done it. It's a grind, man.
It's definitely a grind.
It's funny. Like, people are talking about the race across America. They're like, how do you go for 20 hours a day? I'm like, I've opened up businesses. I know what it's like to be painting a store at 4:00 in the morning.
That's like a whole nother level of grind. So
same as opening up a store, man.
So here's the tough question. So looking back, I mean, you sold your business in 18.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what did you learn about selling your business, and what would you have done differently? Let's start with the one. What did you learn about selling your business?
I learned that change is good.
Change is good. What does that mean?
It helped me grow.
Okay.
Grow as a person, kind of like you were talking. I found other things to do. I found other hobbies, found family, I grew in a different way.
Okay. So that's a good thing. That's a
absolutely,
positive.
yeah.
Right. What would you do differently with that sale?
I don't think much.
You wouldn't do anything. Well, I mean, granted,
it was quick. It was easy. It was what I wanted.
It was all cash, 2 weeks.
Yeah, there was no one else involved in it. There was no other fees. No, because I can do it again. I could open up a store tomorrow. Now that my non-compete's over, I can go to Park City and open up a store. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't do it today. I'd wait till things change and people go out of business, and I'd take advantage of that because everything's about timing. Yeah, like I got lucky when I got in at the time I did. Park City was a sleepy town, etc.
Makes sense.
But right now it's. I mean, I wouldn't change much. It worked out good for me at the time.
You said right there was timing. That's one thing in business that so many people kind of miss is it's hard to time something, but at the same time, the best time to sell is when your business is doing well.
Absolutely.
And in 18, your business was doing well. It's pre-COVID. You made it completely out of the recession. You're down to that one store. It's thriving. Park City's sexy again. I mean, looking back, it's easy to say, wow, that was a great time to sell. But at the same time, you knew that your business was doing well, and that's probably why you got the offer.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Park City's booming. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, and the thing is too, is like, if I were to go back right now and I didn't have that offer and didn't sell that business in October of 22, my lease is up right now this year, I would stick to my plan and run it going out of business. Because I went through 08, 09, and 10. I really, at this age, I really don't want to go through it again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put the risk out there.
No,
when you're younger, it's so much easier to risk everything.
Yeah. I mean, dude, delivering with the Wave Runner trailer?
Yeah, the jet ski trailer.
It's risky for you and me both on the freeway, buddy.
Yep. But good news is Park City, we don't have to go on the freeway. It's a good thing.
Just take those frontage roads?
Yeah, take the frontage road right up to 224. It's good. Funny. But yeah, I mean, I would probably close the business in 22 and stick to my plan of being retired in at the age of 50.
No, that's awesome. So we're kind of transitioning. So what are you up to now? Like, what are you doing? You're kind of like semi-retired. I know you're busy. I know you're active. You're doing stuff, but like, what are you doing? Like, just to keep those juices flowing, like, what are you doing?
I'm always looking at investments, always looking at property. I like real estate. I like those hard assets.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I like real estate.
You've done a couple flips.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. We're buying and selling.
Yeah,
building a house right now.
You're building a house.
Yeah.
You like real estate.
Yeah. I still do. I have a little side business. I'd sell blinds, just to kind of get out of the house for some beer money.
Got it.
That's about it. The wife still does design.
Right.
So she does commercial and residential.
She just designed that restaurant.
Yeah.
Right.
Miyazaki.
That's right.
Down in Salt Lake. She's got another restaurant she's working on from that one.
Hey, really?
So she's staying busy. We just work because we like to.
Good to keep you busy, right? Good to keep the juices flowing. Good to stay active. You guys are traveling.
Tons of travel. Now that COVID's over.
Yeah, for sure. You guys are traveling, doing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So you're kind of in that transition phase.
Kind of in that, yeah. We're in this like, wow, we're really young here.
Hey, you're only 50.
Yeah.
You got plenty of runway left. You're healthy. You're a super active guy.
And that's why we wanted to get out of the game early so we could spend these years enjoying life. Where a lot of times people, I mean, in the furniture business, man, the people stay in it till they pretty much die and hand it down to their kids.
They just liquidate all the assets and it's going out of business sale.
Yeah.
Right?
It's kind of how the furniture business goes. And I didn't want to be 70 years old stuck behind a desk or, babysitting and doing that.
No, it's smart, man. That's really good. So I ask a couple key questions at the end here. First one, I'm pretty sure you're into like self-development and stuff because we're in the same group together.
Yep.
So give me a good book that you'd recommend business owners, young entrepreneurs that you would recommend to read.
Man, I'm not a reader.
A listener. You don't study anything?
I listen to Jimmy's podcast. That's about it. Yeah.
Okay, so Jimmy
and I'll look at like the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, make the action, do it. I don't like leaving things on the plate unfinished. I like to take care of things.
Okay. So you're giving Jimmy Rex the podcast on my podcast.
Yeah. That's what I listen to because he's got great people on it, which is
he does have good guests.
But self-development, I think, is a constant process as we're learning, you and I in the group. So
no, absolutely. Okay, so second question, kind of a final follow-up question would be, what is one piece of advice that you would give business owners, entrepreneurs, like if you could give them one piece of advice, the most important thing that you've learned in your career having sold a business, what would that be?
I mean, take educated risks when you're young and don't leverage yourself too much.
Okay.
I mean, that's the biggest thing for me. I learned in 08, 09, I was too leveraged. And after that, life was so much easier without having a ton of leverage.
So manage your leverage, mitigate it as much as possible.
Absolutely. Have an exit strategy.
And then two, and I think it's solid advice. I mean, I think people know this, but you don't realize it as much until you get older, which is when you're young, like those 20s, like let's just call it 20s. Mm-hmm. I mean, you really can just swing.
You can.
Like you can swing for the fence, and even if
runs.
Even if you miss, like the fall is minimal, if any, right?
You typically don't own a house. You don't have anything for anyone to take.
You might be married.
Maybe.
She's going to love you either way. She doesn't know any different. Let's be honest. You guys are like 24, living in an apartment or a condo. Like the responsibilities of life haven't fully weighed in, right? I mean, we're older, so we know, like your daughter just graduated high school. Like the way you look at risk now is
totally different.
Way different than the dude sleeping at the store.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Yeah, and that's the thing is I think when you're younger, take the risk. As you get older, have that exit strategy because it's the good times are only the good times have bad times and good times and bad times. It's a cycle. And it happens. As much as we don't want it to happen, it does happen.
Totally
for sure.
agree. Well, and one thing that I just want to emphasize kind of as we wrap up this show would be the following. One of the things that listeners or anybody who's listening to this should take from this podcast is great businesses get approached. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's a lot
sure.
of stuff out there that's sold, but like your business had such intrinsic value just with like the name, the tenure, having lasted through a recession. You were in an awesome market. Your lead designer recognized that it was fantastic, went and found somebody with money. And instead of trying to go out and do it on their own, they were just like, hey, you know what the easy route is? Let's take over this fantastic business and let's pay a premium for it because it's all here.
Absolutely, 100%.
It's all here. And that's kudos to you with what you did. Like kind of like I would call it your life's work, is that you built something that other people could see value in without it even being for sale.
Yeah,
Like
true.
somebody wanted it. Does that make sense? It's like somebody coming up to your door, knocking on it and saying, hey, have you ever considered selling your house? Because I got a bag of cash, in my car. Would you sell this for X?
Yeah, and every business has to have value. They saw value.
They all have value, but I'm saying they're not all approached off market like that. I mean, you kind of had this unique opportunity where, this person, unfortunately ran into a market and kind of exposed it and turned into a good thing.
Yeah.
And they realized that it was, much better to buy this premium asset than to try to go like reinvent the wheel and start it themselves. So
for sure.
Kudos to you, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
We could talk for hours, but this is where we're at. So I appreciate you.
So it's been 5 minutes?
45.
Wow.
Minutes.
Good times. It's been good.
That's it.
Thank you.
Hey, as always, we appreciate you listening to the American Business Broker podcast. I'm your host, Josh Lindsay. If any listeners are out there that want to buy or sell a business, please hit us up at AmericanBizBrokers.com, or you can call me directly at 866-224-8386.